in Orange County alone? Do we have 200 and some odd people can get on committee seats in Orange County alone? I think we as Tea Party groups and patriot groups can have more change by getting this taxpayer line going in the state of New York and putting up true conservative candidates in coming elections, and working to get into committeeman positions in other parties to try to put up conservative candidates in those elections as well.
I have a quick question in conjunction to this. Are you saying that if Palladino is running on Republican and the Taxpayer Party, everybody should vote for him on the taxpayer as opposed to Republican?
No candidate has won the governor's election in the state of New York, I've been told since the 70s, I've also been told ever. I'm not sure what the answer is, but I know it's at least the 70s, without having a second line. So if Carl Palladino wins the Republican primary, he would appear on the Republican line and the taxpayer line.
But if we vote, we should vote for him on which line?
If he's on those two lines, you should vote for him on the taxpayer line, because both votes count. It doesn't matter if you vote for him as a Republican or as a taxpayer, both votes count. But if he's on both lines and he gets 50,000 votes on the taxpayer line, it becomes an official party in the state of New York. And the more votes it gets, the higher it is on the ballot. Okay? So Democrat, Republican, Independents. That means Independents got more votes in the last governor's election than anybody below.
Yeah.
Well, I believe last election, the Independence Party got about 144,000 votes.
Okay.
I think they beat out the Conservatives.
You have to understand that right now it doesn't look like this is amounting to much, and you're hearing all this rhetoric. It's going to split the vote, blah blah blah. Man, we're asking you to get beyond that. That's party. That's party stuff, because there's power involved in this. And think about it from a principled standpoint. This taxpayers line, if it gets 50,000 votes, will be on the ballot for the next election. Starting in 2011, I'm told, those candidates wanting to run in 2012 will look at the taxpayers line and look at the Tea Parties, and they'll be coming for our endorsements. And we'll be saying, well, let's see if you line up to our platform here, because you know what? We've had it with the Republican platform and the conservative platform and then this and that. This is our platform, and we're not just giving our endorsements away, you know, for freely.
And our mantra at Orange Sullivan 912 is principle over party. The Democrat and Republican parties take party over principle. I ask you to start thinking more about your principles than your party, and vote with your heart and what you think is right, instead of just voting for the candidates that the party puts up. And that's why a primary has been forced for the first time since 1994, because the parties are not putting candidates up that we agree with.
Yeah, it's really they have brought this on themselves, and that's what I told that conservative chairman, to stop putting up liberal candidates.
I have a question. The primary's coming up in September?
14.
What's the latest you can register for a party? Pass that now?
You can change your registration, and that's the other thing. Really, so many of our people were disenfranchised.
I mean,
but it will not.
Too
late for now.
It's too late now.
It's too late. And we have to.
That's what happened with Levy. As I understand, Levy was a registered Democrat. He switched to Republican, but he's not officially a Republican until I think 8 or 9 days after the general election. So if you switched your party now, you would not be an official member of that party until I think 9 days after the general election in November.
Thank you, Mr.
Future
McFadden.
reference, you know, we can take it upon ourselves, like, let's register as Republicans so we can have some sort of choice, you know, picking their candidates. So have conservative values in the future. You know?
But none of us knew any of it. I didn't know any of this a year ago. None of us thought this
But
before a year ago.
there are two main parties in the United States, the Republican and the Democrat. These other parties are feeder platforms that simply feed the candidates and support the candidates from those two parties. Ultimately, our goal should be to force the Republican Party, or if you're a Democrat, the Democratic Party, to put candidates up that look like us.
And let me just say this, when has the Democrat Party ever put up a pro-life, you know, a fiscally conservative? I mean, when are they going against their party platform and putting up right-wing candidates? Republican and the conservatives that are doing that, and so they have forced this upon themselves. And I guess you can see the passion in us for it, because we feel like if we're going down the tubes, we might as well go fighting and saying we're going to fight for the citizens, for the taxpayers, and for the Tea Party and the grassroots.
One other tidbit of information: Tea Party stands for Taxed Enough Already. There was a vetting process on naming this party, and the decision was made to call it the Tea Party Line. But there is a candidate supposedly in Florida that has a registered trademark on Tea Party, and they were concerned about lawsuit and getting all involved in a lawsuit instead of an election, so they chose Taxpayer Line instead, tax being the first letter in our Tea Party line.
Thank you so much for your time.